Welcome to the Financial Flossing podcast with Ross Brannon, guiding dental professionals to a brighter future. Ross Brannon is a financial advisor who knows it's not just about your teeth. He helps dental practice owners protect and maximize today's cash flow to plan for tomorrow's cash needs. Find him at rossbrannon.com. On the show, he brings together experts to help dental professionals looking to make smart money decisions to grow their income, turn their retirement goals into reality, and improve their lives. And now, here's your host, Ross Brannon.
Welcome to the show. My guest today is Brannon Lee. Brannon is the owner and founder of Precise Dental Labs in Oklahoma City, and he has been working in the dental prosthetic space since 2008. He's built quite the reputation for himself in his lab in OKC for excellence in service and prosthetic quality. Today, he is a guest on the Financial Flossing podcast. Brannon, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I do appreciate you for having me.
Sure thing. So let's kind of jump in here. You're a little bit different guest than we've had. We've had dentists, we've had lawyers, we've had CPAs, we've had student loan people, but you're a guy that every dentist needs. They need you and what you do to help them maximize their service to their patients. So what kind of got you involved in the prosthetic world?
Well, I was sitting with my grandmother one day looking to find something better to do. It's simply like that. You're coming across crossroads as a young man and you're looking to venture out and do something on your own, and so many different opportunities in today's world. So I thought that going into dentistry would be something that can better fit me because it deals along the lines of helping people. And that's what I'm all about, helping people.
That's awesome. So tell us a little bit about Precise Dental Labs. There's all sorts of dental labs all over the country, and a lot of good ones, probably some that aren't so good, but tell us what makes Precise Dental Labs different.
Well, Precise Dental Lab here, our number one goal is to serve the client. In today's time with the laboratories here, a lot of dentists are just a number that you can consider to a laboratory, but here we take each one personally. We meet with all of our doctors regularly. We communicate with open arms. We don't just tell them, we read their script and then give them a patient a piece of chopped liver, if you will. We take more pride in our products here. We use the state-of-the-art injection machine, which is the IVO-based machine, which gives our patients the top quality dentures and partials around here in the United States of America.
Oh, wow. So according to an interview with Umbrella Local Heroes, your lab has a 97% satisfaction rate. So that's awesome. How do you account for that number? And what do you think attributes to that versus other labs?
Well, we account for that number with the amount of callbacks, if you will. When a doctor has a patient that it didn't fit, or maybe the smile was crooked or the teeth were not placed in the proper setting, we account for those. We write those down and we take those numbers. So at the end of every quarter, we factor those numbers into our success rate, and that's what gives us our number. The ones that are completed and we don't get a call back, and we know that those are good cases, versus the ones that we get calls back in and we have to redo something. The redos are far and few between, so that's how we account for those numbers.
That's really neat right there. So obviously this is a financial flossing podcast, as we like to call it. And so we talk about the unique financial stressors that dentists face. You're not a dentist, but you're in the dental world. So what's unique about prosthetic labs and the challenges that you and your team face from a financial perspective?
Well, to be honest, these cases, and of course, it's depending on what part of the United States that you're in. We're centrally located, so our prices may not be the same as someone that's in Florida. So the challenges become to where we're trying to charge a certain amount for the high quality products that we have and give the dentist a good pricing, at the same time trying to make something for ourselves. It then becomes a struggle when we go into trying to raise the prices because, prices are everywhere going up, whether it be for your teeth, whether it be for your acrylic, whether it be for the materials that it takes to even make a denture. Then you have labor costs. The techs want to be paid. They want to be paid well. They should be paid well. They're worth it. So those are some of the issues or some of the things that we run into as far as the financial aspect is concerned.
Yeah, we're seeing inflation ramp up everywhere. And there was a lot of talk of it being the term that the Federal Reserve used was transitory, but that's just a fancy word for temporary.
Yes.
But now the mood is shifting into more of a longer term scenario. So we'll see how that works out. But prices everywhere are going up, as well as for prices for employees are going up. Now, you used to work in Precise Dental Labs, but then you bought it from the previous owner. So that's really exciting. What's the transition from employee to employer been like for you?
Oh my goodness. It's been different. I'll say that. You go from coming in, running a business as a director, not so much as the A through Z, but a quite bit of it. I go from that to actually being the owner, to paying the electric bill, to making sure all the employees are paid on time, making sure that the health benefits and everything is up to date, making sure that the materials, and still keeping the same duties that I had before, but maximizing them as an owner, putting the product out and letting people know that Precise Dental Laboratory is the best in the world.
Yeah, that's good. Your hours increased with the you're still doing your 8-hour day or whatever it was, but now you have a few more responsibilities. So your hours have increased for sure.
Yes.
So who have you found to really kind of have on your side when it comes to dealing with all these extra things? Whether it's the company financials or things like that. How have you been able to kind of rely on people in that regard?
Well, to be honest, I haven't been relying on myself. I have a mentor that's Dr. Charles Goodwin here in Oklahoma City, who's practiced for over 40 years. And he's a really good friend and mentor of mine who have taught me a lot, from going from being a director to an owner of Precise Dental Lab. Really working with him has helped me understand more of the financial aspect and being on top of everything. And in order for everything to roll a lot smoother, if you sit there and let things happen to you, then you're playing behind the 8-ball. And that's not how we want to work here at Precise.
No, I think that's a good point. You don't want to let life dictate things to you. You don't want to just kind of what I like to call exist and let life happen to you. You want to have a plan and move forward, whatever, and basically tell life how it's going to be. Now, that doesn't always work like that, but you have to be very intentional in what you do. So talk a little bit about, and this may be a new topic for you because, with you being a new owner in the business, but have you found the challenge of working in versus on your business yet? So many people are working in their business because you have to, but the more valuable thing, and what I've seen with the dentists that I work with, is the ones who can work on their business end up creating a higher revenue practice. Have you seen the same thing?
Well, yes, I would have to say with the local hero, with the story that you just brought up, that to me consider working on the business, getting the name out there, letting people know that not only are we a really great laboratory with a high percentage rating, but we also use some of the best state-of-the-art equipment in the dental field. And by us doing that, and by me doing that, I'm focusing on the lab versus in the lab. When I'm in the lab, I'm scrubs, lab coat on, and I'm headed toward it, But the other way around is, how can I get this name out there and show people that this is the laboratory that they need to use?
That's a great point. A great question that I think, or a question that makes me think of is, what is if I have a cavity and I don't have a dentist, I look up a dentist.
Yes.
How do you get your name out among the dentists in the markets you're trying to tap? You're obviously in the state of Oklahoma now. There's dentists all over the country. How do you grow, and how does a dental lab market in that scenario? What does that look like?
Well, social media is a big push. You have your social media platforms that will carry you from state to state. And as long as that digital footprint is there and can be utilized, I believe that that's a way that we can get recognition from other dentists and doctors around the United States. Social media, then you have, of course, your digital emails that we send out with packets and planes. And we also have a video on YouTube. Just type in precisedentallab.com. And it shows a bit like a commercial, if you will, of Precise Dental Lab. So you really using our digital footprint to try to reach out across the state lines in different sectors of the states.
How open are dentists to switching their lab?
I will say this, it depends on the dental laboratory that they're using. What I've noticed, even here in 2021, after the pandemic, doctors are still looking for that right laboratory. They're not hung up on a laboratory if they're not providing what they need, and they'll switch. They'll definitely switch and go to what is better because they want to get their patients the best products possible. And if the laboratory that they're using currently isn't giving them that, late cases, maybe not following through reading the scripts correctly, more than not having bad cases come in, then the doctor's more than willing to switch laboratories.
Yeah. You got to give good service. And if you don't give good service and you can win them over with good service, that's great. And you don't want to, obviously, first time around working with somebody, it's got to be perfect to win them over.
Oh, yeah. Those first 6 weeks or something else, you really want to key in on it. But what we try to do here at Precise Dental Lab is focus in beyond the 6 weeks. We want that at least that first year to be, and it's hard to say about perfect because what we do here is with our hands, we're creating something from scratch, something that has dust and powder and a solid band of teeth. And then we create that with our hands, but to use that as the pivot point to want to go higher and produce more for the doctors, it really puts us in a great position.
Well, you mentioned earlier before we turn on the record button is what you really do. It's a combination of artistry and engineering.
Yes.
And, a lot of people probably don't really appreciate that for what it is unless they actually saw you doing it.
Oh, yeah.
So now let's rewind and let's suppose that you're a 22-year-old fresh college grad and you wanted to start a dental lab. What would you say to someone who wanted to get in this industry and wanted to start their own dental lab? What advice would you give them?
Well, one key I would give them is diving into something like this without any experience yourself is very, very tough. Like you said, like we both said, combining artistry with engineering, you want to go in with at least some type of skin in the game, some type of knowledge of what you're doing, because being a dental lab technician is very tough with the 250 steps that it takes to even make a denture. So you want to definitely get your feet wet and get around some dental lab techs or a dental laboratory where you can see what's actually going on inside and outside. And then you want to go ahead and I would just advise them to go ahead and get out there, just jump out there. If you jump out that airplane and you let that chute go, you can go high as you want. But if you never jump out that airplane, you'll never know. So it's all about chances. It's all about taking that chance.
That's good input right there. So what would you say the phrase financial health? When you hear that phrase, what does that mean to you?
Financial health is like I was stating earlier, when you don't let something happen to you, instead you're proactive. You're looking at all the finances from today on into the future. We're in July now to what's going on in December, putting things in perspective to where if this was to happen in a scenario, that you're prepared for this to happen in a scenario. That's what I consider financial health.
That's a good answer. So I like to ask everyone a few questions here at the end. What's the best advice you ever received?
I was just talking about this yesterday in my book club. The best advice I've ever received is to show up, keep showing up.
That's good. A lot of people quit. If you don't
quit. Things can get tough sometimes, especially in this world of creating your own business. If you start with nothing, I can be honest here, I'm not backed by any banks or anything like that. So it can be troubling at times when you're thinking about how can you get something started from scratch. And all you want to do is serve people. All you want to do is give this gift that you have. So when I'm going through this, my mentor, Dr. Charles Goodwin, told me, just show up every day. He's been in business for over 40 years with a successful practice. And those were some of the best words he ever told me. And since then, I've seen growth that I could not believe. And we're continuing to grow every single day.
That's good advice right there. So are you a reader? Because I like to read, and I always ask people what's the best book they've read recently or what are they currently reading?
To be honest, I'm into a lot of dental books right now.
Oh, you get a little nerdy. You're getting a little nerdy.
I'm into a lot of dental books right now. Of course, I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I read some financial books to help me along the way with this. But I'm really into a lot of dental technician books because things are changing every single day in this sector,
Well, the fact that you can read that was probably dry for most people, but you can read it, you got to read it. So, So our listeners, where can they go if they want to connect with you?
Well, they can go to our website at www.precisedentallab.com. and they can find us there, or they can Google us. And like I said before, you can go to YouTube and put in Precise Dental Lab, and a commercial pop up with my illustrious face here and smile. And you can see a simulation of what we do here at Precise Dental Lab.
And you guys work with people all over the country. So anyone who has a dental lab need, you guys can reach out to Brannon here and get this squared away and work with him. So Brannon, this has been really interesting and fun talking to you today. Thank you for taking time to be here. You guys have been listening to the Financial Flossing Podcast with Ross Brannon.
This has been another episode of Financial Flossing with Ross Brannon, guiding dental professionals to a brighter future. If you liked what you heard, consider subscribing wherever you listen to podcasts. For more on Ross Brannon, visit rossbrannon.com.
Registered representative and financial advisor of Park Avenue Securities, LLC, PAS, OSJ, 3664 Coolidge Court, Tallahassee, Florida, 32311, 850-562-9075. Securities products and advisory services offered through PAS. Member FINRA SIPC. Financial representative of the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America, Guardian, New York, New York. PAS is a wholly owned subsidiary of Guardian. North Florida Financial is not an affiliate or subsidiary of PAS or Guardian. California Insurance License Number 0L10073. Arkansas Insurance License Number 161-39032. 2021 119535. Expires 423. That last part can also say 2021 119535. Expiration April 2023.
This podcast is for informational purposes only. Guest speakers and their firms are not affiliated with or endorsed by PAS, Guardian, or North Florida Financial, and opinions stated are their own. Ross is a registered representative and financial advisor of Park Avenue Securities, LLC, PAS, OSJ, 3664 Coolidge Court, Tallahassee, Florida, 32311. 850-562-9075. Securities products and advisory services offered through PAS, member FINRA SIPC. Financial representative of the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America, Guardian, New York, New York. PAS is a wholly owned subsidiary of Guardian. North Florida Financial is not an affiliate or subsidiary of PAS or Guardian. Arkansas Insurance License Number 161-39032. California Insurance License Number 0L10073. 2021 125302, expiration 0823.